This conference will now be recorded.
All right, good evening, everyone. This is Building Needs Committee Vice Chair Alan Llewellyn. Ken Poisson is not able to be with us this evening, so I will be taking care of the proceedings. Call us to order here at 5:32, and we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our regular meeting on August 7th.
So moved.
So moved, Bob DiLorenzo.
Thank you, Mr. Fredette, Mr. DiLorenzo on the second. Are there any corrections, comments to be made? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Okay. That moves us on to Chair votes aye, motions approved unanimously. Moves us on to item 3, ongoing items under that sub-item A, Board of Education buildings. Item 1 is the Stratford High School renovations. I have an update to give here. I've reached out to CREC on behalf of our closeout process. Mr. Chris Fields, who was our project manager, is no longer going to be with us, and CREC has now assigned us for the balance of the closeout fees and the financial closeout fees. This woman, who's a project executive with them, her name is Diana McNeil, and her work with up in New London, CREC was basically what O&G was to Bridgeport, CREC was to New London. So this woman was part of closing out 10 office of school facility projects. So I definitely feel like we have the right person in place. She sent out a rather lengthy, bullet, multi-pointed email that was shared with Don Savo, the mayor, Chris Timniak, as well as Pam Mangini and Susan Hughes. I know that Don has already followed up and started exchanging information with CREC, and so I look forward to hopefully seeing emails while involved in the process. But it looks like in terms of the closeout, we're definitely going to have sort of the professionals and the town employees, as well as our new CREC project manager, kind of handle the process from here on out.
Hey, Alan, by any chance, you have any type of a time frame?
I don't want to speculate on that at this point. There were some time frames put in Diana McNeil's email, and I think some of the items that she's looking for have already been sort of exchanged between parties. In Dawn's response back, she actually kind of confirmed what my thoughts were, and she wanted CREC to confirm that they have some of the financial documentation already. So the other thing that I'm looking to get is to have Antonazzi, CREC themselves, as well as Turner and all the contractors, at a point where there's no more open cost issues, no more potential amendments, that everybody's confirming that they're 100%, built in. The earliest hurdle that I could see coming out is that if the last of the project changes either weren't processed by the state or are still in the process of getting processed by the state. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but we don't have confirmation yet on that. So that's why I kind of really would like to see kind of some combination of Don Savo and Susan Hughes sort of go through this sort of program that Diana McNeil has laid out, and then kind of see where our gaps are for information.
I'd like to see the end of this before we have to rebuild that high school again.
I couldn't agree with you more. Don, I see that you just joined. I was just updating everyone on the change that's happened with CREC and that Diana McNeil is with us. I didn't go through the entire email that Diana issued, but I did mention that you had received it and that you were already in the process of kind of exchanging information with CREC.
Yeah, I think where I left it was the other week. I asked them to get back to me on what they don't have, because they should have copies of everything already.
Okay, does that include the Munis backup that they were looking for? They should already be in possession of that as well?
Yes, because we sent them all the information for them to do their financial reports. So that's why I
Okay.
said, let me know what you don't have versus us recreating everything again. So
Okay.
yeah, so I want to that's why I reached out and asked her to send that. But I didn't see any follow-up email yet, but maybe that came today and I missed it.
All right, yeah, no, I'll follow up with them as well. I saw very clearly in your email that you had sent that that Craig was in possession of the billings. It wasn't clear to me whether or not they had the Munis reports already. That's good to know that they do have those reports. I made note of that, and I'll follow up with Diana and see where she is in terms of addressing the concerns that you had in your email.
Okay, thank you.
One more
Hey,
question, Alan, while we're
yes,
on
go
the
ahead, Mr.
subject.
Ferdad.
While we're on the subject of the high school, has anything been cleared up with the air conditioning and the heating system over specifically last week in the Arts Commission or the Arts Department? We had quite a few artists that lost poundage last week.
Understood.
We had just finalized. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Dan
This is
Weekling. I
Dan
was just
Wakeling.
going
We
to
had
turn it
finally.
over to you.
Oh, okay. I believe we have everything resolved right now. We did some work over the summer with MJ Daily and changed some piping, changed a lot of compressors, did some control work. That last week was the final week they were changing some compressors. They had a problem with the weather. So everything should be done now, and right now it's all working properly, and we'll just play it by ear and see how it goes.
Okay, come Thursday when it's 80 degrees, I shouldn't hear anything from the art teachers.
You shouldn't.
Okay, thanks, Dan.
You're
All right,
welcome.
we'll look forward to that, Dan. It's good to see that so close to the work being finished. The system's now going to be given a little bit of a test and a workout to see just how good we were with getting these items taken care of.
Yeah, I
Anything?
think we did okay, so we should be good.
All right, sounds good, Dan. Thank you. Anything else concerning Stratford High before I move on? Okay, our item 2 is the open work orders, which were sent out beforehand. Thank you to Aileen and those who we get these reports from. And what I was seeing, it looks like this list has been reduced somewhat. So I'll open the floor up to any questions, comments on the BOE open work orders.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, Dan Sept. I'm just seeing a lot of Wilcoxon work orders on here all of a sudden.
All right. Dan Weekling, can you kind of weigh in on why Wilcoxon is a little more popular than some of the other buildings?
Yes, what had happened is the fire marshals went through and did all their inspections, and they generated work orders off of those reports. So Wilcoxon had quite a few, so we're working on those now. But that's what a lot of those are. There's a lot of door issues, so there's some sheetrock holes, and a lot of it we have taken care of. There's some electrical, and a lot of it's due to the fire marshal's report.
All right, excellent,
That was it.
Dan
Thanks.
Weekling. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Dan.
You're welcome.
Mr. Fritter, you have a question on the BOE open work orders, or we're good to move on?
Yeah, we can move on. I'm sorry.
Excellent. No worries. Thank you. Our next item under B, sub-item 1 is open work orders and general building repairs. Again, that list was issued to us previously, 2 pages. Any questions, comments, concerns concerning that work order list? All right. Hearing none, I will move us forward. Under item 2, Dan Weekling, is there any further updating on Booth Park buildings and work going on in Booth Park?
The only major thing we did, well, not really major, but the biggest thing we did, we met with the Friends of Booth and we walked the whole property and got their concerns and we're taking care of a lot of the issues they have. One of the things was they were getting water in the homestead basement. We finally had a company come in and grade the property off around the house to shed the water away from it. And these last big storms we haven't had a drop of water inside, so that seems to have worked.
All right, excellent. Thank you for that update. Anyone on the committee have any Booth Park specific concerns to address or bring up? Okay.
Alan, Bill O'Brien.
Go ahead, Bill.
Have to comment about the Veterans Museum and the great help we got from Public Works last week to get us ready for the Patrick Leonard celebration, for the great job he did on our patio. And we had a great attendance that night, and it was a great event. And also, Dan, I had the guys from Universal that you recommended come, and they're going to give us an estimate on the air conditioning and heating for the attic that's desperately needed.
Okay, yeah, I had spoken to Paul Taduni briefly about it, and yeah, he was working up a price for you.
Yeah. And I have to say,
All
the
right.
public Works carpenters that were at the building one day not long ago said, we saved that building by moving in and starting to make various repairs, and it was nice to hear.
Oh,
All
absolutely.
right. So sounds like great news coming out of Booth Park. We did some regrading. We've diverted water away from a homestead building. Things are continuing to look great with the Veterans Museum. So nice to have positivity. Moving along under item 4, there are 3 new business items. I'll kind of take these one at a time. Item number 1, Dan kind of alluded to this early. The fire marshals have been going through the various municipal buildings. So this change order number 1 is being presented to us from Tomlinson Hawley Patterson for modifications at the police department lobby for entrance door and hardware. I would entertain a motion to approve this in the amount of $6,626.40 and send to town
How about if
council
we,
with favorable recommendation.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Thank you, Mr. Sen.
I'll second it.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fredette. This item is now open for discussion, comments. Anybody have anything they wish to say concerning this item? All right, hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Our next item is Town Bid 2024-03. This is for upgrades to the Ferry Creek pump station. This project was put out to bid by the town purchasing department. And I would move that we approve, well, not move, but I'll entertain a motion to approve this award to Tucker Mechanical of Rocky Hill, Connecticut, in the amount of $1,441,441, and that we send this to town council with favorable recommendation.
So moved.
I'll second. Dan Sempt.
Thank you, Danny. Are there any questions, concerns, comments regarding Town Bid 2024-03?
Is there any reimbursement at all coming back from anybody?
John Casey, Dan Weakling, are you guys aware of whether or not this is part of a reimbursal or perhaps a DEEP/EPA project?
Alan, Brian Snyder is also on this meeting too. He could probably answer.
Okay. All right.
I'm not aware of any reimbursement for that project. I believe it's all town funds.
We did apply for a grant, but we weren't awarded. So, we continued. This was only phase 1 of a bigger project to fully renovate the station. So every time there's a grant opportunity, we're looking for grant funds, but we didn't get the one we applied for.
Okay. Thanks, John.
Okay. Are there any other questions with regards to this item? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. Our next and last item under new business, another item that was sent out in advance. I will need a motion to approve our 2024 meeting schedule.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fredette. Is there a second?
No
Dan
second.
Sempt.
All right. Thank you, Danny. Are there any
One
questions or
question.
comments?
Yeah, I do have a question. Are we going to go back to meeting face to face, or are we going to keep this virtual in the 2024?
I'll have to talk about that with Ken Poisson, at least in terms of the approval. I don't know what he's sort of thinking about moving forward. I know that starting in 2024, the Roosevelt Forest Commission is going back to meeting in person. I know I personally prefer to meet in person, but as these meetings are tied to Public Works, I want to make sure that we have the the town staff and our other advisors that are available to us, on board with how we're going to operate moving forward.
You waiting for me to say something?
if you would like, now would be the time.
I'm full-heartedly behind the in-person vote. But I know
I'm great.
I do know Aileen's going to write that a little bit differently, so whatever.
Do we have capabilities to do both?
Oh, you're
Yeah.
trying now.
With technology today, you would think we would be able to pull that off.
Well, wait a minute. There's been several meetings that we've had in town hall where Dan has been on the road. He's called in.
No, I know. Calling in is
So
one thing. Yeah, I mean,
that
I
kind
can
of
still
qualifies for both.
Yeah.
Well, it was COVID that allowed the virtual meetings. They're allowing it to continue and forever.
Yes.
Well, they say COVID is forever.
Yeah, that's true. There is an advantage, like on a winter night when there's a snowstorm, you can.
Oh, stop.
Or we
That's
can meet at Dan's house for hot chocolate.
Ooh, he's got plenty of room. Got plenty of room there for a couple of chairs, a little bourbon.
There we go.
It is easier for me when I travel. It definitely helps.
Exactly. I mean, I think moving forward into the future that the audio option is always going to be there. As Mr. Fredette said, I agree. I prefer to meet in person. I know for a fact there's a couple of people who are on this committee that would, prefer that the meetings be in person. But again, for this, because it follows directly after Public Works, I would like to definitely check in with Ken and see what kind of groundwork is being put in place for the future. So, Aileen, correct me if I'm wrong, we haven't had a motion or a second on accepting the schedule. Is that correct?
That is
No.
not correct. Rich Fredette made a motion, seconded by Dan Sempt.
Okay, sorry. Playing
Pay attention.
a little catch up here.
Focus.
All right, is there any further discussion concerning the meeting schedule? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, chair votes aye, motion carries unanimously. Item 5, our next regular meeting will be on Monday, November 6th, 2023 at 5:30 p.m. Brings us to our final item, adjournment. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Fredette. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Danny. All those in favor
Do you want
signify
to
by
hang
saying aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion carries unanimously. We are off the clock at 5:50 p.m. Thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Good night, kids.
Take care.
Night. Thank you.
Guys, good night.